When I started playing slots in 2004, very few people were thinking intentionally about what they were doing when playing slot machines, including myself. I had no goal or objectives other than to have fun and to use slots to cheaply entertain myself. No large bankrolls were being risked. I didn't yet have any strategies, and my education of others at slots wasn't even a glimmer in my eye yet. Playing slot machines was a hobby motivated solely by personal satisfaction. In my mind, before I started playing slots myself, the only way for someone to win was to be lucky. Yet my actual experiences weren't matching my expectations. I talked about it with a few friends. Besides, who else would be interested? It turns out, as you know, quite a lot of other slots enthusiasts were very interested. The the slot machine gaming industry has certainly changed since those days. Today, slots players wrestle with casinos for hours to get a few wins. The gaming industry has becoming saturated, nearly saturated, with almost 1,000 casinos across the US, half of them tribal, and no longer centered in Las Vegas and Atlantic City. This abundance of casinos is causing slots enthusiasts to now ask different questions about our strategies than they asked several years ago. Now slots enthusiasts are asking questions like, which of my local casinos is best for me? How do my state's gaming regulations help me win at slots? How do I find a winning slot machine with a small bankroll? Perhaps one of the biggest and most common mistakes slots enthusiasts make when they start developing a strategic path for playing slots is misunderstanding how casinos work. Most players base their approach entirely on luck. It's easy to assume slots are entirely luck based and simply hope your bankroll holds out until we win, or metaphorically speaking, for lightning to strike. Being self taught, many of us have no other point of reference, so that's where we start when crafting our path. What path, you ask? Our strategic path is winning at slots in our casino. I spoke to you about our slots adventure back in mid-August. That learning to play slots smarter and win was like treasure hunting. Do you remember that live stream? A link to it is in the video description. In it, I told you about identifying the X that defines success for you as a slots enthusiast as the first step in a 6-step process to mapping your slots gameplay path. As of a few days ago, I'm giving you this 6-step process for free in my new ebook, The Secret to the secret to improving your slots winnings. You can get your free guide at professorslots.com/free guide. Let me share that, what it looks like uh, to you. So here's the cover, and to give you an idea what's in it, here is the cover with title and the table of contents. It's a 28-page ebook, a guide, free guide, and all you need to do is go to professorslots.com/free guide. Now, if you are on my email list already, I sent it to you a few days ago. You might want to check to see if it's somewhere in your inbox or where it might go. There's some activity in the live chat I'll get to in just a second. Make sure you check your email. If you're a member of one of my Facebook groups for each state or Professor Slots enthusiasts, I also posted it there, so you can check those locations. And we already have a few donations, so let me switch over to that. And first off is Chuck. Chuck, thank you for the donation. Uh, uh, it's a super chat, as they call it on YouTube. He says, "Morning all, it's beautiful in St. Louis. I love the fall weather." I have to agree. I'm in Ohio, southwestern Ohio, and it's a beautiful, clear day. Which naturally means with no clouds in the sky, it's quite cold. Funny how that works. And we also have We also have Robe. This is a super sticker, and I can't show you what the sticker is, but he or she is saying goal. So thank you both for your donations. It helps me to keep the show going. This is my business. This is, it supports me. That and my savings from having been laid off about a year and a half ago as a PhD in the building at an aerospace engineering company, jet engine manufacturing. And so this is it for me, and I hope that I hope that it works. And your donations, thank you very much. It is very helpful. So there's not so much in the chat just yet. Rodney is here. Thank you, Rodney. Well, that one was for Robe, if I'm and this one's for Rodney. Thank you, Rodney. It's a super chat, and he says I should keep better records. We all should. I could wish this was a habit. Speaking of my business, I wish this was a habit so I could prove to you and everyone what taking my course does for you to improve. But usually that's their people's first introduction to keeping track of gambling records of the income and profit and all of that. So it's hard to get a before and after, but that's objective, that's quantifiable. A lot of people need to keep better records, but that's sort of the catch-22 here, right? You learn from me how to start winning at slots, and well, there's consequences to that, which we'll get into a little bit today. So thank you so much again for the donations. And been having a lot of conversations with little Heifer, hopefully Lil Heifer, back and forth on YouTube lately. It's great that they are here. She is here. Wonderful. And let's keep moving forward. Okay, so it's hard to reach the X on your map. This X, what is it that you want from slots? There's multiple different things, and sometimes people don't know what they want. Sometimes it is complete entertainment, and other times it's money, and sometimes people get the two mixed up. I want to send out a happy birthday to my internet lawyer, Andy. Andy can't make it to the live stream today. He is actually at the casino, and it is on his birthday, and we were going to meet up at noon today, but I told him I had to meet with you guys. It's a great guy. I've been to the casino with him before. He's been very helpful with terms and conditions and privacy policy, and he's really a professional in his field, well recognized. And but happy birthday, Andy. So when you reach out for your ex, a lot of people, like for instance, would go out and I'm blushing. I think little Heifer has given a donation, a super chat, and saying you're amazing, a true genius, 4 taxables in 8 days. People are going to be envious that you had hand pays in 8 days. Thank you for telling me how to pronounce how you pronounce heifer, with the little cow emoticon. Even got the cow emoticon that's a heifer. Wow, this is all pretty advanced. Okay, thank you. Again, donations help allow me to keep doing this. And I appreciate it. So some people will say that they want to have money, but then a lot of people are wrong. I've gone with some of these individuals to the casino, and they were there to have fun. It was obvious to me, but that wasn't as obvious to them. They kind of felt like they should. Um, uh, I'll check in with a live chat in a moment. That felt like they should want a profit, but what they were doing was entertainment. And so, what is your X? And being honest with yourself is important, and understanding what it is. You don't know. If you don't know where you're going, I know it's trite, it's cliche. If you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you arrived? So it's a common saying. So if you don't know how to navigate the environment of the slots gaming industry, which you'll have to journey through to get to your X, let me propose a different way of looking at navigating this gaming industry. Over the last several years, there's been an exciting shift in how operators set up their casinos. Without getting into all the details, statistics, and research outside the scope of this conversation, suffice to say, just look at how many casinos are near you. When did that happen? Common answers revolve around entertainment, gambling, income tax revenue for the state, excitement, and things like that. So now that you have so many venues for you, and I understand that there are plenty of places in the United States where there are no nearby casinos, or if there is a nearby casino, it's just one and there's no competition. I've been on the news about trying to address these concerns. Both in Cincinnati, they didn't show me, didn't quote me. They used some of the stuff that I said during my interview, but it turned out to be a very short 7-paragraph article on Cincinnati ABC Channel 27 or ABC Channel 9. Local station. But in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I was on ABC 27 local news, and they did 45-minute conversation, and they used 10 seconds of our conversation, but it helped them to present on what's going on with Penn National in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's a Hollywood casino where the returns have been noted by the patrons that it was pretty low. And when they went checking with Pennsylvania return statistics, like I suggested, they saw it was high the first year, and then never went that high again until never. So that's where I've talked about how these local casinos or not local casinos, it's unfortunate some people have to travel, and I was just chatting with a gentleman last night about how far they have to travel to get to a casino, and that's not very convenient. So it's sometimes they're far away, sometimes they're nearby, but having a plan is important for all of us. So, let's consider, okay. Let me get caught up here. This is wonderful. So thank you, Magpie, for the super chat. Good morning, winners. Was just hiking Red Rock. They are out near Las Vegas, often in Las Vegas. Also, Robe was commenting and thank you again for your donation, both of you, all of you, and 5 of them so far today. Wow. Robe was saying, John just got back from Vegas. 2 hand pays per your location in high limit areas works just awesome. Wonderful. If you wanted to chat with Robe, you won't be able to do that unless you're here live. Also, while I am showing this on the screen, it is not going to be available in the live chat afterwards if you're watching the recording, because I switched that off. But if you're here live, you could ask them details. Right. So we have casinos. We have 1,000 casinos. Some of them are starting to open near us. But when you think about what do you like about casinos, consider, like, why do you like watching sporting events? Why do you listen to the game? Maybe for entertainment, maybe to relax, or to educate yourself. Those reasons are also why you play slot machines. There are all forms of gambling activities that we consume for similar reasons. But the latest generation of casinos operate differently than those that preceded them. It may seem like you're playing the same old physical, old slot machines from a decade ago, but its internal electronics now match what's in the latest video slot machines. Casinos don't have two systems in operation. They have one. And if it's a machine that's been there for many years that you enjoy, the electronics have been scooped out and replaced. It only appears to be the same machine. So over the past several years, this has led to revolutionary new approaches to playing slots or winning at slots. Not only how casinos are set up and operated, but how slot machines are individually set up and operated as well. In 2012, casinos installed central computer servers for the first time. Computer server gaming within casino systems centralized game logic and random number generation. And these casinos installing central servers to remotely control their slot machines continued at a record pace. We'll talk in detail about this at some other time, and I have in the past, and I'm sure I will be asked to do so again in the future. But now every U.S. casino that can physically have a central server does. Why? Why would casinos go through all the effort and cost of closing all or part of their gaming floors, perhaps even build an entirely new casino to install a central server and all the wires and cables that are needed to connect each slot machine to it? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Consider the old standalone slot machines. To change the odds of winning on one of those, a slot mechanic would physically enter a code from its manufacturer, would open up the door, punch in the code, the meaning of which they did not know. Why tell them? But there's a set of them from the slot machine manufacturer that you could use, that the casinos could use. All of them perfectly legal according to state law. It has to be. They work hard to make sure that happens. It's just that they updated with slot mechanics, or did. Now, and with those slot mechanics and an army of them, all whom had to be paid and had other duties like cleaning the air filtration system on the fan and the slot machine, but mostly they would adjust the odds. But it takes a while to get through thousands of slot machines. So basically, the casinos were using that method, were able to update all their machines in a week to 10 days. This inefficiency resulted in two primary costs to the casinos: lots of employee compensation and not having a better than weekly financial performance metrics. But there were many other inefficiencies, including how poorly promotions were when run by casino employees using clipboards. Anybody remember that? Was it ever a good time? It was either went as planned or terrible. It was never an excellent time. So patrons were invited to attend a lot of slot tournament promotions. Those that were invited would become frustrated. It wouldn't take much. Long waits and a general lack of organization would do the trick. So if a patron has had a bad promotional event experience at a new casino, why go back? This is the concern that casinos are trying to fix. Why go back to it if it was a bad experience? And what was the potential lifetime value of that patron to the casino, the one that was never going to come back? Just consider how much money you've spent at casinos. Other opportunity costs, that's technical business term, opportunity costs, what they could have made and didn't for standalone slot machines include limited monitoring of machine status. Is your service candle lit? Lower security. The random number generators still resided within the machine, and that's accessible, possibly. Less control. Casinos had less control, where changing a game theme means changing a computer chip. And there was a lack of responsible gaming features requiring advanced monitoring capabilities, greater hardware, software, and maintenance costs for individual machines. What is it about today's player expectations and technologies that cause this shift to take place? Not for the casinos concerns, but the players. What do casino operators value that a standalone slot machine doesn't or can't provide? We can answer those questions by looking at what casinos are turning to, what feature, what business element we're seeing in all kinds of businesses that casinos have turned to. It's automation. In late 2013, I was at Horseshoe Cincinnati in the high limit slots room playing slots. Some days I'd win as many as 7 hand pays in a couple of hours and go home with a 5-figure profit. On my next visit, a few days later, I'd lose my shit, my shirt, shirt. Then on the next visit, I'm again, winning and end up leaving with a huge profit. Why? Why was my luck changing with every visit? I still remember standing there a bit perplexed myself. It was always the same casino where we're all winning together or losing together. I remember one night where myself and my fellow slots winner Bubba would yell at each other across the high limit room. 5, he'd say. A few minutes later, I'd say 5 also. And then he'd say 6, and a little while later, 7. And I got 7 hand pays that night, but he got 9. Yet other nights were grim playing sessions, just spending our bankrolls. Then it hit me. The odds of winning weren't constant from day to day or even hour to hour within a day. When we were playing mattered, and not entirely about how lucky we were. When you start looking at old and new casino setups, and these days they're mostly new casino setups like this, it becomes apparent you cannot look at playing slots through an old casino setup lens. To journey to your X, your goal, using central computer servers now found in most casinos, you need to navigate the terrain like the dynamic casino environment it is. When you think of casinos this way, excuse me, my voice broke. When you can think of casinos this way, comparing old static environments where the odds on any one slot machine only changed every 7 to 10 days, versus the new dynamic environment where the odds change often, you gain many more opportunities to win. The big question now is, how would you play slots differently if you approach them like they were remote controlled, often instead of by a slot mechanic once a week? Honestly, think through this question. Do all slots and strategies have to fall into the computer server bucket? No, there's room for a standalone slot machine approach at casinos, and many successful slots enthusiasts who are doing it. But when I look at, and we talked about progressive slot machines and how to win on them, was it just last week, or the week before? I think it was last week. But when I look at those players, I wonder how much more effective could they be accomplishing their Y, their goal, their X, if they were taking a new central computer server approach to their strategy. Successfully navigating the territory of new central computer servers really comes down to facilitating 2 things: connection and community. The first thing your strategy must do is develop a connection between between you and your casino. While there are certainly some signals you can incorporate into your slots play to make it easier for you to build a financial advantage for you over your casino, the first step is being deeply aware of your casino's motivations for why they do what they do in their business. Are they all alone in that region of the state? Are there many others nearby where everybody's competing for your attention? Begin to tap into that and make it a part of your gameplay when it's appropriate to do so. It creates a relational connection with your casino, which will always be much stronger and more powerful than an entertainment connection. So get to know your casino well. Get to know your casino very well. How do I put this in a more direct manner? You're playing your slot machine, right? Well, bring your head up and look around occasionally. Walk the casino before you sit down. What's going on? How's the crowd? Listen. Sometimes casinos, the big ones with lots nearby, they're just so loud you can't really tell the difference between when it's a good time and a bad time. Yes, what's going on? Are you okay? This is Curie. Curie is rolling around on the floor, and the other 2, I used to call them co-hosts. Now they're, thanks Chuck, now they're saboteurs, have been sequestered in another part of the house. Yeah, okay. Well, you just woke up from a nap. You have a bad dream or something? Okay, so that's Curie, after Madame Curie, who discovered radiation. The others are Hetty, who discovered Wi-Fi, and or named after the scientist who was also an actor, Hetty Lamore, who discovered Wi-Fi, invented it actually, and the inventor of or rather the discoverer, the physicist who discovered the induced magnetic field, which is what we used for most of our electronics these days and hard drives. Right. All rescue cats. Okay. So, besides the connection, uh, uh, the community, the other thing your strategy must do is connect you to the other people in the casino, not just connect you to the casino, but connect you to the people in the casino. And this is basically community. Community is a term, and if you're part of my course and you've got the one free month available to you for taking the course, one of the valuable bonuses to be in our Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, you're starting to see this. If you connect with other people who are other slots players, and just being, you begin to see a beginning of this by being in the live chat during the live stream, not in the recording, but during the live stream, you see this interaction, and it's really building lately. I've only started a few months ago on this Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, but people there are already commenting about how, we have a specialist who really focuses on cruise ships, specialists who really focus on who helped us last week. Yeah, what's up? With progressive slot machines. And they're learning from others because they promote their ideas and they share. And then we ask questions and we work together. And so this community can be done by you going to your casino. And this is, there's some practical next steps to this, but this is this connection between you and the casino, this connection between you and other slots players, which isn't entirely easy to do sometimes. People get a little nervous. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I wanted to pick her up to show you, and she got very upset vocally, and so you hadn't seen her, but you heard the scream of a cat being upset. And as entertaining as that was, I won't attempt it now. She needs some attention, so I'm going to only borrow this hand when I need to use the mouse. Right, so community is a term that's thrown around rather loosely and is often used synonymously with patrons, players, or slots enthusiasts. I make a different distinction. We're all in this effort together. Think of whatever your goal is with slots. We're all in it together. Think of yourself as whether you're focused on progressive slots. She's not letting me pick her up. Come on, you just want the attention. And there she is. There she is, looking all adorable. Whatever your goal, whatever your X, whatever you're seeking to do with a casino, we are all in it together. Maybe you're interested in going on a cruise once in a while and want to talk to somebody who goes on cruises all the time and has plenty to say about it. Or you want to try this whole progressive slots approach. Well, speak to people who just do that. I mean, this is the mode I've taken. I will offer Lego blocks for you to build something. And yes, no, you want? You're not going to let me? Okay. I help, and you do, and so this is what we want to do together. So this is the approach that we're seeing that works very well. We see the comments with just came back, got 5 hand pays, just came back, got this. And so the tips and tricks are great, but they're static. And so, if you have if you're developing a plan to approach, then you need something a bit more than that. And this is all very important. Chuck says, the new idea for the show, remote controlled laser pointer. Now, would I become evil if I put it on the cat's head? Friggin' lasers on the cat's heads. Let's see here. Okay. So do I normally feed her about this time? Anyway, I'm being distracted by the cats. The two that are bothers of the show the most, interact with the show the most, are sequestered, and now the one that is very calm and 8 years old and not one is is wanting some attention now. Awesome. I'm talking to you guys. I'm not talking to her. It's like having a child and you being on the phone. Hey, I'm on the phone. So okay. I know everybody loves the cats, and Isaac's doing great, by the way. Don't have a more recent photo for you than the last time, but that was only like a week ago. So, all right. So when you're trying to build a connection, when you're trying to build community, when you're trying to use the resource of the casino from which we're trying to win, and then the a resource of other slots players who are also trying to win along with us and take the team approach. So in this scenario, you're the catalyst for being the facilitator who drives this engagement. You're the catalyst for something bigger amongst an audience of slots enthusiasts. This is when you can mobilize the audience, the other people in the casino, to accomplish things that go beyond just wasting money at a casino. This also boosts the emotional connection the community has with you and starts an intertwining spiral between connection and community. It's a poor description for something that's very simple once you see it, once you are a part of it. And we are seeing that in the paid community. I'm happy to see that. People, I think they tell me it's helping them. That's great. So you want to get on the show or not? I have cats because I like them. I should say that a little more firmly. Okay, so consequently, when your community feels like they're part of something bigger, or when your casino and the people there feel like they're part of something bigger, or people in the paid community feel like they're part of something, it can bigger. It can compel them to pull out their wallets and make a financial transaction with your casino in ways that help you, but likely also them. So if you work with other slots enthusiasts, you can see them playing slot machines they lose on or win on, and you can learn from that. And that's why I want people to pick their heads up from just looking at their slot machine and look around and make observations. Sometimes you learn that's not the time to be at the casino. Other times it means you learn that you're on the wrong machine, or sometimes that you're on the right machine. Look up, look around. So that's why the best way to measure the strength of your gameplay is through community and profit, not jackpots and comps. Many slots enthusiasts getting to know your casino makes the whole effort go faster and with less effort for you, because sometimes other players observe what you might miss or not be there on that night to observe yourself. So that's why building this connection, this community is so important. It's not always the case, but it does suggest that audience size does not determine the strength of a community. So, for example, visiting a casino the morning after a big promotion to take advantage of a accounting business practice common at many casinos requires that promotion draws many slots enthusiasts for it to be a successful event, which makes it more likely the strategy will be an advantage play at this casino. But how do we know if that happened? Well, ask your community. If someone went and came back, it can report back that night prior to your potential trip to that casino early the next morning. This is my strategy 4 and 5, one for holidays and one for promotional events. So how do you know if that happened? Just ask your community if anybody went and have them report back prior to your trip the next morning. It's important to understand your leadership role in your community. This is what I've been sharing with people in the paid community, Slots Enthusiasts Growth Network, which links are in the video description, where they're leaders. They're assuming a leadership role at their casino and community. They don't have to tell people, but they can interact and learn, even if it's just observations only. So you're either educated about how to win at slots or about to become so. The community doesn't need to consciously recognize your leadership role, but that hardly matters to achieving your goal of winning at slots. So here are some practical next steps, but let's check in with the live chat. I want to make sure I didn't miss too much here before some comments, perhaps. Steve is here, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hope everybody is doing good on their gambling trips. Excellent. Wes says, are you having any luck? Is what I say when I sit down and the person next to me appears approachable. Like you say, some folks don't want any interaction. Certainly that is the case. Developing a sort of a calm approach. I like sitting next to somebody for a while and then, share a glance, kind of watch each other's playing. And then maybe if it seems like they're approachable to say, how's it going? Or something to begin a connection. But one thing you definitely don't want to watch out for, and I tried this again on my last trip to Miami Valley Gaming, where someone won $12,000 hand pay, 2 hours before. I was at the beginning of my trip when I arrived, and I was leaving 2 hours later because I try to do these casino trip reports just over the same amount of time. And as I was leaving, I tried to walk up and say something. And no, it was all very, scary for them. And I've certainly heard from others in my Facebook groups and such about, people walking up and anything, saying anything can be uncomfortable. So I'm trying to give you a approach to getting to your goal, but it is not easy to approach other slots players. You know what it's like, right? And you've been there, right? So, but there are some practical tips. Let me check in with our team, our community. Thank you, Wes. That's a great point. Wistons 2, what are the most likely slots to hit jackpots? Is it the lock and lock games, Lightning Link, Dragon Link? Any idea? Yeah, I have plenty of ideas. The game doesn't matter. Game does not matter. If you have a row of those machines, play the one on the end next to the main aisle, the one that has the greatest view. This is where casinos are tricking you, where they're manipulating you. They want you to enjoy the game that you play, so they make enjoyable games to make money, for the casino to make money. I've met a few of the fans, some of them in the live chat, and I've gone to the casino with them, and they were a little bit surprised how I only look at the win window in the bottom to see if it's changes from zero. Anything else doesn't matter. How do I explain this? It's the first step to understanding what, isn't a distraction. If you're there for entertainment, of course, what you play is funner. If you like a particular game, but I like particular games like Wheel of Fortune because I have fond memories of winning so much on them because I found the ones that were winners, not the ones that were losers. So the better machines are those that have a view. That's a top strategy. Number 9, location. And so, you got a row of similar slot machines. They're set up to have different odds. I worry so much about slots enthusiasts who say, well, whatever casino I go to anywhere in the world, I'm just going to go find a Lightning Link, or I'm going to go find this other Dancing Drums, or I'm going to go find this other thing because I think those have better odds. And that was just a wrong path. It's player appeal. It's entertainment that you're getting, not winning, not money. So you're going to the machine that you enjoy the most. And guess what? You'll probably enjoy it. But if you're going to the machine to make a living, to make a profit, then you have to decide which of those machines to play. And that means they're different from one another. And now you have to figure out why they're different. Doesn't matter what the game theme is. Just being honest. So yes, I have some that I'm fond of, but that's just because historically I have won on them because those were placed in a casino to have all the things that I look for. Look around, you'll see the same thing. And some of the machines, Lightning Link, some of them are set up to win, but it's for the reasons that we talk about. Okay. So you're either educated about how to win at slots or are about to become so. The community doesn't need to consciously recognize your leadership role. Some practical steps. Yes, and here we are again. Cold Hippo. So if a casino can change the wins by server, how will a system overtake their ability to change on the fly? So that's a very simple answer. It's on a schedule. Last week, the board of directors, the head of whatever department, set the schedule for Tuesdays. Set the schedule for Tuesday afternoon, set the schedule for Tuesday night. If you see a change where everything changes at the casino, it's not because they said, you know what, let's just make a snap decision here and change everything. No, it was on a schedule and has been for a long time. Think about that, please, because that also means that they weren't aware of you walking in. I mean, that just doesn't work as far as operating a casino. If you change how you treat customers based on who they are, it becomes chaos. They won't be able to reach the financial performance metrics. It would just go crazy. I mean, they wouldn't know what they were going to get out of their day, and casinos will know what they're going to get out of their day. We've looked at the state returns on monthly state return by casino in different states, or by region of the state, if that's how they perform it. There's 15 different states that do that, 18 different states. 6 of those states will do it by slot machine denomination. And you can see by casino where they choose to be. They choose to be down here, for a year, 2 years, 3 years, up here, year, 2 years, 3 years. Nevada has chosen to be 92.7% consistently. And some casinos are consistently a little lower. Some casinos are a little bit higher. And it's all there in the return statistics. That's very important to a business, to have an outcome that they can count on. And so it's all on a schedule. It's no snap judgments. Things could really get messed up for their business if they would choose to do that. Now, as you know very well, I could have said, but that's totally illegal. But we're moving past that because, you've heard that too many times. It's just not what a casino would want to accomplish. Wouldn't be there. Okay. Let's see here. Winston's 2. Do you read chat? No. I read chat during breaks, and I let them accumulate a little bit. Otherwise, I'm constantly interrupted, and you don't like that. That's been clear. So, Kissy Cat, I'll sit by anyone if I'm winning. Okay, back and forth between everybody. I told you we have Super Queen Bee 45. Greetings from Northern California. Thinking of going to Grayton today. I had a consultation with the biggest gambler in Grayton since started middle of January this year. Tens of millions spent. Tens of millions won. Kind of breaking even when you start thinking about tens of millions. He had some questions about, he or she had some questions about taxes, and we were going over that. So great. He says this individual says my strategies work, particularly the morning after the holidays, morning after promotion, big promotional events. So you might want to consider trying that if you like to get up that early. It's a surprising number of people do like to get up that early. Okay. Yes, Kate, I get so annoyed by people standing by me or behind me watching. Anyone else? I think it's rude. Well, if you trust your gut, that's the best thing. I've had people stand behind me. It didn't bother me one bit. When I'm winning, sometimes a crowd shows up, and sometimes they're They're scary. You can feel it in your gut. This is instincts that your ancestors gave you. It's completely valid. I've had people stand behind me who were just, it was fun, that they were there. But there was others I was just like, I am I might leave. I'm not turning my back on that person. Why? Because your instincts tell you these things. I've had people, with the crowd being there, and I do recommend taking somebody with you if this starts to happen, so that they can sort of act as a guard to sort of interface with the crowd, particularly if you're like winning hand pays. It's a great combination. I've had people like scurry past me, behind me, and as they walk past, they kind of bend over and they say, "You took my machine. That was my jackpot." I'm like, I'm feeling for holes stuck in me. Is there a knife in the back of the chair or something? There are at times when it can be scary, but it also isn't always. So, try to look up from the machine and note the difference. And if you feel like you need to protect yourself, then do it. But one way to do that is, in advance of your trip, take somebody with you, and you can go back and forth. It extends your bankroll. At Kissy Cat, I like dancing drums. I've profited plenty off those, and I just want to point out that it wasn't dancing drums. It was that something about the particular dancing drums that you chose. Not this one, but this other one. And yes, yeah, on location, get lots of watchers. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. Yep, you can start texting, stop playing, start texting, they go away, lose interest. Sure. Slots Junkie. Hi, Professor. New viewer here. Do you play slots online, and what's their overview on online versus inline casinos? ProfessorSlots.com/ABC27 is my interview with Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, about what casinos do to improve their odds of winning when they open. The first month, the first year that they are open, it's a common business practice. My view on online slots is that all the business practices we see at brick and mortar casinos do not exist online slots. And those are what we take advantage of to win, except for one. When online slots enters a new gaming jurisdiction, which a lot of them are doing right now, they want people to win to get them hooked. Just like brick and mortar casinos, it's all right there in the return statistics. You can see it. ABC27, ProfessorSlots.com/ABC27 will show you the investigative reporter talking about this on ABC News, with interviews with me and they only use my jokes in what they showed, but we talked for 45 minutes about everything that they presented on. And he did great. He did a great job. But if an online gaming is new to your gaming jurisdiction, there is an opportunity for them to hook you, and their investors know that's the plan, and so they are patient to spend money so that you will win, and then you develop an attitude towards online slots, which goes away. And this happens at brick and mortar casinos. This is, it's a great thing to go to a new casino when it first opens. And take advantage of that, trying to establish themselves in a state where previously what the building was on, the casino was on, was a cornfield. And so you have to establish yourselves, and they do that. But then they turn it around a month later, a year later, whatever. They turn it around, and unfortunately, at Horseshoe Cincinnati, on the first year was awesome. They opened in March, right? And it was just great. But then earlier in the year, I think maybe January. But then in 2014 was not too bad. Not too bad. I won like 45 hand pays the first 9 months, and the first 8 months, and that was great before winning the car. And but then the third year, I was at that point writing my book and trying to start the business and figuring things out, and work was really busy with being an aerospace engineer, government contracts, working on all that. And I didn't go back on the third year. until later in the year, and I went back and I saw Marty. And one of the, not Bubba wasn't there, Dustin wasn't there, the others weren't there, but I saw Marty. I'm like, Marty, what's going on? And he said, where is everybody? And he said, oh, they all went into bankruptcy. So there's an advantage that I would be happy to tell you about with online slots. That's only one, which is when they first come to a gaming community. But this comes with an even bigger warning. If you didn't hear that, hear this. They turn the switch, turn off the odds sometime later, sometimes a month, sometimes a year. And you got to be ready for that, because if you don't stop when they stop giving out money, you've got a problem. Okay. Kissy got a jacket? No, a jackpot. Typos. Did you hear that the inventor of autocorrect passed away? Mehi Restaurant. It's a meme. Pardon my sense of humor. Elizabeth says, I won $14K cash payout. Had security escort me to my car. Yes, be safe in a casino. I have an article about casino safety. Talks about all these things and what to do, particularly if you're a winner. Be safe, please. Let's see. And I think that's kind of where I am caught up. Yes, I hear Kizzy Cat was saying something about Texas. I'm not sure what the question was, but Texas comes to mind. There was supposed to have been something up on the ballot for opening a casino somewhere in Texas, but it looks like it didn't make it to the ballot. There was some state laws that just didn't get that far, and so it might be another year. I was going to ask people if they heard the results of that, because it's more local news than it is national news, sort of. But it didn't make it to the ballot like we thought it might. And so therefore, in a year, Texas they've been trying for 10 years or more. Some people have been trying to get Class 2 bingo style slots available, or non-tribal casinos available in Texas, and so far it hasn't happened. And the most recent attempt was last week, or no, early this week. So Tuesday, which was my birthday. Let's see. We are one more question, and then I'll come back. Yes, Kate. Situational awareness. Part of why I know what I know about safety has to do with having had a wonderful instructor for martial arts for about 5 years, and a wonderful man. And the whole team, the community, taught me about how my gut is worth listening to, and situational awareness. And if you look around at your surroundings, right. And as you say, so Jerry, hi, Professor. Can you gauge how the casino is set for the night? Sometimes I can feel like if they have the machines turned down by just walking around and seeing if anyone is winning. Love your cutoff, I think he says, channel. Absolutely. Strategy number 8, right? The casino atmosphere. If this basically has the idea that it's the approach of if you go into a casino expecting to win and nobody else is winning, it's luck-based winning. You're just hoping lightning will strike. But if you go into a casino and suddenly, and Stephen can confirm this at his casino in North Carolina, you wait. It's hard. Casinos don't really give you anything. You can't, like, I got yelled at by the security guard coming in because I had a book. What are you doing bringing a book into a casino? If you find a way to quietly wait and listen for the casino to pick up, to suddenly be, scurrying slot attendants, handing out hand pays, that's when you play. And when it's the opposite, that's when you don't play. And the only difficulty with this strategy, again, these are based on business practices going on, and we're using our observations to take advantage of the casino. Only difficulty here is if you're in Hard Rock, Tampa, when is the volume not maximum? When you're in, some of the Southern California tribal casinos, um, El Manuel, San Manuel, it's Pachanga. It's just volumes turned up to 11 all the time, so it's hard to hear this. But so you have to sort of go by, do you see a lot of hand pays? Because it's just maxed out as far as how many people are in the casino. Same with Hard Rock, Tampa. Somebody leaves and their spot is instantly filled by another person. It's just like that constantly. So it can be hard to listen for changes, but you can watch for changes and when it's hard to listen for it. Otherwise, if it's quiet, the number of people don't change. It's just suddenly everybody's winning. And that's when you play. Strategy 8. Right. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Kate. And thank you for your service. Okay, so let's get back into it. I think I'm kind of caught up, although more questions are coming in. So some practical next steps. Now that we've had the background to talk, discuss what we're talking about, having your own X, your goal, how do you develop a plan to succeed at slot machine casino gambling? Well, let's go through it. Identify your casino. From which casinos are you trying to win? Which would respond best to your strategies and your why, your X, your goal. What's compelling about your slot strategies that will draw the casino into your clutches? 2, identify their business practices. What's their focus? What walls and barriers do they rise against, which most casinos bump into? 3, figure out a solution. What response can you use? And this is where you go into the casino and look around and see how other people have solved things. I didn't invent my 5-spin solution. I saw it at work where it was undeniable. 7 hand pays. Boom, 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 boom. What the heck is that? And then other people started doing it, and then the hand pays decreased. And I just sat there and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Look up from your slot machine. See what other people have figured out. Talk with them or just watch them. Whatever. And don't make them nervous. Some of them could be what did you say? Ex law enforcement, and just trust your gut. Trust your gut. So, but first step is to look up from your slot machine occasionally and get good at figuring out the solution. Study my strategies, study your casino, study other players. This is how you win. But then you also want to measure your solutions. What metrics will indicate that your efforts are moving you towards your why? How can you put those metrics in place to track progress? This is like record keeping. It's also notes. If you go to the casino, do you debrief when you get home? Do you take notes in the car, out in the parking lot? Have you considered what you wanted to try and how well did it go? Because this is 5, evaluate. Maybe you have statistics that you can take. Maybe it's your intuition that would suggest whether you're making progress. How often does this happen? Make note-taking should be part of your future. If you don't already, is your approach becoming better refined and moving forward? So then 6, also change it. What adjustments should you make? You could always be better. I don't like to use the word optimize because that means it is optimized and doesn't allow for future adjustments, which would make it better. Optimized is the peak, and we want to move towards that peak. So make adjustments that would help your strategy and your approaches based on your evaluation. And then rinse and repeat. Go back to figuring out a solution, trying it, evaluating it, and start again, particularly if your casino gets purchased by somebody else, or if you move, or you want to try a nearby casino that might be an alternative backup in case the first one gets a new owner and everything has to be redone. Having a backup casino to go to where you win a little bit, but not as much as the first one, will help you if the first one, closes. So a lot of the content in my online course, 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win, and let me share that page for you. So you can go to, I'm going to put that away. So if you, yes. if you go to my website, professorslots.com, you can go to professorslots.com/30 days, and you'll come to my long article landing page, technically, what talks about some of the things we're talking about here, not entirely. This includes like here, Kim K gave a great testimonial. So did PP. If I'd spelled out their name, it would have been obvious who that was. And I'm not trying to be obvious with who it was. If you happen to join my community, and so I don't want to out people. Day 1 and 2 about the casino environment. Days 2 through 7 going over the basics. This is fundamental work. 8 through 12 develop your plan. That's kind of what we're talking about today. 13 through 16. These are my how to win at slots, what you're generally trying to do, and here's some explanations of what you'll learn. Day 17 through 25. These are the strategies, which don't make any sense unless you actually have the prior days up through 16, the first half of the course, to support understanding what these strategies mean and what you're looking to accomplish with them. And then after that, you've got your first basically steps to success as you press through to the end of the 30 days. And then I got a bunch of bonus content. So, and bonuses like my Slots Enthusiast Growth Network. And I talk a little bit about here and about weekly challenges and the social hours and the Zoom meetings. I had a wonderful Zoom meeting on Thursday night. It was great. A few people are here who were there, and we had it was pretty decent. But if you click on this, the green buttons takes you to this page, which is where you sign up. And also you can see the detailed syllabus for each of the sections. And it tells you, what the tasks, what the day is about out of the 30 days, that there's tasks, that there's resources, not what they are, because that's what you get when you purchase, of course. And it's all very detailed out, as well as, improving your observations. We talked about that today. Who I am. It's currently discounted at 50%. That's $100 off for the current price of $97. And you get these bonuses and their value for you. So you just buy $97 right there, that green button. And I only use green buttons, and that's what you will find. And I highly recommend it, as do the people who provided the testimonials. I have a podcast. I haven't done much with it in the last month or so, month and a half perhaps, and the reason for that is I'm updating it. So I've got a new intro. I'm going to add some interviews and other things where before I wasn't giving the podcast listeners individualized attention, and now I'm building that up. So I already have 150 episodes out, but starting at 151, which should come out in about a week or so, once I finish getting some voiceovers, some other technical things sort of worked out, and maybe get a couple of episodes in the can in a couple of weeks, that will be restarting with episode number 151. I hope you take a look at that if you care to. But the course has the discount, but before you step into a casino, you have to decide what success means for you. Without thinking too hard, many casinos assume everyone else wants to win money, but that's not true. Most casinos goers want entertainment, for which they're quite willing to pay, and pay dearly. Having fun is why we take our families to amusement parks, concerts, and other venues. Yet some players indeed want a profit, whether in money or expensive complimentary gifts. So there are other, assessing casinos, gaming regulations, the slots industry in general. How's it going with a pandemic? All these things matter. Picking winning machines, knowing when to move on, strategies and combining strategies, and leaving with your winnings. So, all this becomes part of the winning at slots, whatever winning means to you, whatever your goal is. So don't regret your losses, but rather learn how to laugh all the way to the bank. Read my testimonials and more to understand what a wise investment it is in purchasing 30 days to play slots smarter and win at professorslots.com/30 days. So go ahead and get my course, and you'll stop regretting your losses. Don't let that be the way that, don't let regretting your losses be that way when you can prevent it. So I think there's a few more comments that I should check on. And I've had Kate asks, how often can you win multiple jackpots on the same machine at one sitting? Just wondering the odds. I have won 7 on the same machine in the same night, about a 4-hour period. Just kept coming in. It was odd. I would tell the slot attendant would come up, and it was the same slot attendant as the last one, and I would say, "Hi again. How you doing?" And they would just look at me like they don't recognize me. I understand they're very busy, but I was just like, "Hello again." Nothing. Then there was also uh, it was so close together in one of them that for some reason they wanted my ID. So they took my ID to the cashier's cage because it's a hand pay, and they wanted to do that. And I'll bring it back, but I want a hand pay before they came back. And they were like, "Government ID, please." And I was like, "I don't have it. You have it." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Hello." No, they're too busy to notice these things. You know, these are not floor managers. They remember things like $10,000 or more, and then they see you later. And yeah, I got I got called out by other slots enthusiasts when I won a car at one casino, and like the next event 3 days later at the other casino, I was waiting in line at one of these promotional events that I got invited to. I don't know, was that the Temptations or something like that? And they looked at me and they're like, "I know you. You won my car." And I'm like, "It's my car." But I was like, "I'm so sorry," and I tried to tell them how I did it, but they were anyway. It was all very funny. So now maybe you want to know what are the best bankroll money management tips for slots enthusiasts. Here in this playlist right here, I explain 11 of them, including loss limits, preserving gains, and more. So click this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the